And while that's a form of a budget, I don't think anybody would actually sit down and say, yeah, it's a valid budget.
Yeah,
Because
because like you said, a budget is, okay, we have whatever, $10 trillion. Here's what we're going to do with all of it. And a bill is, hey, we have a problem right now. We need money for this.
yeah, it's very much that. Or, a lot of times bills also are like, hey, let's just change the way that this previous bill was worded. That's because very few bills actually do whole new things from start. They're usually modifying existing things. Like when you actually sit down and read some of these bills, it's like, well, add the words and slash or to subparagraph 4 of section 3 of clause 17 of page 74 of this law. And it's doing little tiny things like that. That's doing all these little tweaks. And most people would consider a budget sitting down going, okay, let me look at all my expenses and my income over the last year. Let's look at what we did, and look at the wife going, you know what? We actually didn't. We spent a lot of time on Netflix and Amazon Prime. We didn't really spend any time on Hulu. Let's just cut Hulu out. You know what? We actually went out a lot more than we intended to. We ate less food, but that's okay. We actually enjoyed it, and we didn't spend any over here. So this is balances out. Or wow, car expense is really high. Let's actually look at what we could do to it's those kind of things. They don't do that. They just go, well, what we did last year and add 5%.
Yeah, this has to
That's
be
kind of a
either,
cheating way of budgets.
yeah, for sure. It has to be either unconstitutional or just like not how our government is set up, even if that probably is constitutional. But it seems like a really, really, really big deal that they
Hmm.
have all of our money and they have not for over a decade decided what to do with it.
Yeah.
This seems
And it
like
may even
complete broken government.
That's right. It may even go back further than that. I'm looking at them. I can't remember the last time we actually passed 12 budgets for the 12 different departments as needed. It's been an insanely long time. It's a way that Congress cannot do their job but do their job. And
Yeah.
it's all very much positioned about, well, I voted for this, and my opponent didn't, and my opponent doesn't want to vote for that. And that's why you need to vote for me and leave me in Congress. So I can keep making lots of money and have lots of power and a lot of perks. Very few actually go into Congress. Everybody goes into Congress talking about how I want to make the world better and everything like that. And within a couple of years, they're all corrupted. I don't care who they are.
Yeah. And if
It's just, it just comes.
I'm a corrupt politician, of which most of ours are, it seems, it would be very easy for me to say, yeah, they want to do the budget because they want to put your money here to help these bad people, right? I'm
Yep.
sure they
Yep.
do that constantly. They're like, I'm not gonna let them take it to the budget because we know they're gonna take money from black people. They're gonna do this to gays. They're gonna give all the money to the white people or whatever the case may be. I'm sure they do that. Yeah.
100%. And that's, it's just a lot of show game. But if you're going to do a continuing resolution, be honest about it. Say, you know what, we don't have agreement about what we want to spend, so we're just going to kind of keep spending what we did before. The problem is they go, we can't agree on what we're going to spend, so we keep spending what we did before and add an increase across the board, and that's the problem because you don't really know what's coming in. It's one of those little things. If I did this analysis about 10 years ago, now obviously things have changed since then because stuff really went sideways over the last 5, 6 years in terms of spending. But at that point, if we had literally said what we're spending is what we're spending today, and we will allow it to increase annually at the combined rate of inflation plus population growth. So if inflation went up 3% and population went up 2%, you get 5% more spending. And that kind of makes sense. It's like I got more people I have to take care of, and the cost of taking care of each person costs more. I will do that. If we had just done that in about 20, and then you look at how GDP grows over time, without any tax changes or anything else, just holding and saying we're going to only increase budgets based upon population growth and cost of inflation, cost CPI, cost of the inflation cost. In 15 years, we would have a budget surplus. In 45 years, we'd have no debt. GDP tends to grow faster than the combination of inflation plus population growth. So when inflation and population growth are going 4 or 5%, your GDP tends to grow, maybe 5.5, 6% on that. And you collect extra tax revenues because, as we know from Hauser's law, you get about 70% of GDP comes into tax. Doesn't matter your tax rates. You're floating somewhere between 16 and 19, average about 17.5%. That means you get an additional 17% tax every single time that money goes up above that rate. And eventually you're just collecting more tax rate doing nothing. And you grow yourself out of debt. So the problem comes in when they say, we're doing a continuing resolution and we're going to bump everything up 7%. Well, that's faster than inflation, and that's faster than population growth. Why are we spending more? Oh, because this person wanted that special deal, and that person wanted that special deal, and that person wanted that special deal, and we're just going to give them all. Instead of going, no, that's not right.